Drop it.
Hello once again, welcome to our e-learning for today. And for today's lesson, we're going to discuss Lesson 11, Vocabulary, Dangerous Crossing. And here are your materials. And please prepare them. And if you are prepared, let's go to this schedule week number 6. So here are the following schedule. For this week, we are going to discuss only vocabulary and spelling. For today, we have to study vocabulary words only. And we're going to answer the worksheet attached in your class dojo. And for Monday, you're going to answer Socrative tasks, again, about vocabulary only. On Wednesday, we will be doing some spelling activities. You can pause this video and copy all the schedule for this week. And now let's go to the vocabulary words. And these are actually in Journeys, page 322 to 323. Let's start reading. Please read after me. Number 1, embark. Embark. 2, surveyed. Surveyed. 3, conduct. Conduct. 4, cramped. Cramped. 5, bracing. Bracing. 6, pressing. Pressing. 7, distracted. Distracted. 8, representatives. Representatives. 9, viewpoint. Viewpoint. 10, shattered. Shattered. So here are your 10 vocabulary words. Let's go to the page. So as you can see here, you can pause this video and you can see the pictures from 1 to 10. These pictures will be giving you ideas about the vocabulary words itself. Okay? So when you're done studying this page, if you don't have your book, you can study this page actually. We can go to the vocabulary audiobook. So if you know how to read all of these 1 to 10 words without any help from the audiobook, you can skip this part of the video and directly go to the activities. But if you need help, I want you to do the following. Number 1, you need to listen carefully. You need to read accurately. And if you have problems with the activity, you can practice it thoroughly by repeating it and making the video slower. Okay? So let's click to watch the audiobook.
Lesson 11. Language Detective. Talk about the writer's words. Verbs are words that name actions. Work with a partner. Find the vocabulary words that are verbs. What are your clues? Write the verbs in new sentences. Add new words to my word list. Use them in your speaking and writing. Vocabulary in context. 1. Embark. In the 1770s, it took courage to embark or set sail on an ocean voyage. 2. Surveyed. These soldiers surveyed the harbor, scanning for signs of the enemy navy. 3. Conduct. The captain made sure that all jobs were done. He was responsible for the ship's conduct. 4. Cramped. In storms, travelers were thrown about in their cramped, crowded quarters. 5. Bracing. These sailors got used to bracing or securing themselves when storms struck. 6. Pressing. Sailing vessels served a pressing need when they delivered urgently needed trade goods. 7. Distracted. The sunset distracted this sailor. She stopped working to look at the clouds. 8. Representatives. Ben Franklin and other representatives of the U.S. sailed to France on diplomatic missions. 9. Viewpoint. From the viewpoint of the British, their navy was best. U.S. sailors had another opinion. 10. Shattered. Divers still find shattered remains of vessels that broke up and sank long ago.
So let's go to the activities. Alright, so we have only 2 activities for today, like we have been doing for the past 4 to 5 weeks. So first, let's find the context clues. So what are you going to do? I want you to read the sentences in the book page and find the context clues. So this is your example. So this is number 1, embark, and number 2, survey. So you can see here the sentences, and each sentence you can find context clues. So context clues are the tips or clues that will give us the meaning of the word. Let's read number 1. We have this. In the 1770s, it took courage to embark or set sail on an ocean voyage. And in number 2, surveyed. These soldiers surveyed the harbor, scanning for signs of the enemy navy. Now, I want you to pause this video and find the context clues. Okay, so what's the context clue for number 1? And what's the context clue for number 2? So let's see for number 1. So for number 1, embark, the context clue here is set sail. So set sail, so as you can see here, embark or set sail. So you can now have an idea about the meaning of embark. So to start sailing journey, something like that. So that's number 1. Let's go to number 2. So for number 2, we have surveyed. And the word scanning is actually your context clue for number 2. So scanning is looking maybe from different directions, looking for something. So that's scanning. So that's giving us the idea what's the meaning of surveyed. So that's what we call context clues. Next one, we have number 3 and 4. So let's discuss number 3. So the captain made sure that all jobs were done. He was responsible for the ship's conduct. And in number 4, cramped. In storms, travelers were thrown about in their cramped, crowded quarters. So let's look for the context clue for number 3 and the context clues for number 4. So what do you think is the context clue for the word conduct? What do you think is the context clue for the word cramped? Okay, so let's go and answer that. For number 3, conduct, the words or the context clues that we can find for number 3 is all jobs done. So conduct. And number 4, finally, cramped. Cramped, crowded. So crowded, context clue for the word cramped. So this 1 to 4, they are actually done. So I am done with number 1 to 4. And what do I require from you is to do number 5 to number 10 for today's activity. So again, you can copy this in your worksheet, or you can find another words that can give us the ideas for context clues. Please, from number 5 to number 10. Okay, so we're done with the activity letter A. Okay, so let's go to the activities. But before that, I'm giving you again the tricks and tips in answering this activity. So you can find the meaning and definitions of each word from number 1. You can use your dictionary or the glossary. So you can look at the back of your book, and then you can find the vocabulary words at the end of your book. So you call that glossary. And number 2, you can use your internet browser, your Google or your Safari, or you can use this online website over here, www.dictionary.com/browse/Google. So let's open Google right now. I'm going to show you how to find definitions. So I'm going to click on Google first. The second one, I'm going to type the word, for example, embark. Embark meaning. So I'm going to type embark meaning. And here you can see the dictionary here. Alright, so you can also click this audio here so that you can learn how to pronounce the word.
Embark. Embark.
Alright, so what's the meaning of embark? Number 1, go on board a ship or aircraft. Number 2, begin a course of action. And you can also see some sentences over here. He embarked for India in 1817, and she embarked on a new career. So similar, the idea is to begin, to start, to commence, undertake, set about, or to enter on. So you can find different words and meanings in Google just by typing the word and the word meaning, actually. So that's how to use the Google or any internet browser that you have at home. Now let's go to letter B. You are now required to write each vocabulary word from 1 to 10 in a sentence, and I'm going to give you some examples for today that I actually researched also. Now, for number 1, embark. So let's get ready to embark on this journey, which means embark again, to start, to set sail on this journey. Okay? Now, number 2, she surveyed the empty room aimlessly. Surveyed, which means scanning, looking into different directions, and looking for something important, something like that. Number 3, suddenly, all the rules of conduct began to make sense. So this is another example using the word conduct in a sentence. And finally, number 4, he despised. Despised means hated. he despised the cramped and hot classroom. Okay, so cramped means very crowded. Okay, so there's no space, something like that. So here again, I gave you 4 examples of sentences using each word in a sentence. So you can again do it on your own from 1 to 10. Okay, all right, so let's see the activity for today. So I'm going to show you the worksheet for today that you are required to answer. So let's look up to it. So this is your activity for week number 6. As you can see here, you have question number 1, definition. So I want you to write the definition of each word that you found in your dictionary or your internet for each word. And you can also write the context clues over here. So again, you can write from 1 to 4 the answers that I shared to you, and you can answer from 5 to 10. Now for question number 2, sentences. Use each word in a sentence. So as you can see here, it's 1 to 10, and I'm going to ask you again to require you to write 1 sentence using embark, 1 sentence using served, 1 sentence using the word conduct, and so on up to number 10. So I think you know what you're going to do. And finally, you have question number 3. This is only a short activity. I want you to find an answer number 1 to 5 in this activity and choose the best answer. So just read and answer. So what's the meaning of representative here? What's the meaning of cramped, distracted, viewpoint, and shattered in the following sentences? So that's your activity for today. It's only 3 pages and you can finish it from maybe from 20 to 30 minutes. All right. So let's go back to our presentation. And again, the tricks and tips for writing this activity is you can find some examples in the internet, in your Google or your Safari, and you can get the ideas and you can make your own sentences. Okay, remember to make your own sentences. Most of the sentences here I actually read them, so make sure that you are writing your own sentences. And few reminders for this week. I want you to again read the vocabulary words, answer the worksheet, and I'm going to give you Zoom meetings at least once for this week, and I'm going to type it in your class dojo, and I'm going to send it as messages for your parents. And remember, the Socrative for this activity for today will be on Monday. All right, so please send me the worksheet so that I will be sending you back the correct answers or the answer key so that you will check your own activities for today. I think that's the end of our lesson for today. Thanks for watching. This is Mr. Johnson signing off. Thank you and goodbye.